Why is urban sprawl bad?
So how much time do we have? The answer to that question is the same answer as to why are walkable communities good. And that's because we define sprawl as being places where you're utterly dependent on the auto. I like to say the car in a walkable community, the car is an optional instrument of freedom as opposed to being a mandatory prosthetic device that you need to live your life. But the principal way that I would describe sprawl is a landscape in which automobile ownership or use is essential to your viability. And of course, that implies one of the very first things that's bad about it, which is actually a third of us don't drive. The car polluting is a sustainability problem, but the way that we spread out when the car has determined the shape of the landscape is actually a bigger part of our sustainability footprint problem that cars enable. Cars have been a tremendous negative impact on our health. And the best study, although you've probably heard a lot of the anecdotal stuff, but the best study I've seen is a very recent blind study that was done in China, where it's a lottery that determines whether you have the ability to buy a car or not. And so they tracked the people who won the lottery versus those who didn't win the lottery. And if you were over 50 and you won the lottery, a few years later, you were 20 pounds heavier than all the people that didn't that didn't win the lottery. The point being that, it's clear, all the evidence shows that the lack of physical activity that you get once you become a driver, as opposed to someone who walks and takes transit or bicycles or does anything else, is one of the principal causes of our health crisis in this country. And
as COVID happened, it kind of forced this moment in time where, city planners and regulators and even real estate developers were forced to rethink, right, some of the assumptions they had previously operated under as cities literally just shut down with stay-at-home orders. What are some of the insights that you think positively came out of the COVID experience for everyone, for regulators, for planners, and for real estate owners?
A lot of cities realized that they could rededicate a lot of their public space to non-automotive use. So the real question is, will these stay? And some of them are already going away. People are regretting it, and people, the automotive hordes, as I like to call them, are celebrating. But the cities are learning that they're getting fewer tax dollars from the parked cars than they were getting from the, impacts of the revenue, the additional revenue that was coming to these businesses from people dining outdoors. And of course, the whole nurturing and friendly and communal supporting nature of the city when you have more outdoor activity in the public space. A lot of people are coming to cherish that. In Boston, they did a poll and said, understanding that they take space away from automobiles, do you want these parking spaces to still be dedicated to dining? And 80% said yes. And I think 78% answered yes when the question was, do you want to keep the additional bike facilities that we've received? Paris is moving towards removing all cars from its center core of its downtown. I met Mayor Hidalgo when I was in Paris 2 weeks ago. They're full speed ahead on that. What they found in Paris, 61% of cyclists were people who hadn't been biking before. So it's incredible how the physical changes make behavioral change.